Hello, howdy, what's going on, and welcome to all of my viewers from around the world. The rain is pouring and the magpie is casting. Coming at you guys today with a 1v1 live game featuring spawning in the west, the USSR forces of HelpingHans. And spawning in the east, the Wehrmacht forces of CaptainSPrice. Both of these two players have featured on my channel before. CaptainSPrice, you might remember, used the US rear echelon spam. It seems that he's switched over to the Axis for today's game, and neither player has chosen their commander. HelpingHans, I know I've cast him before, can't actually remember what favors he, what tactics he favored. So we'll have to keep an eye on him, see what he does during the game. The map, of course, is Kolodny Firma. I'm sure we're all very familiar with this one by now. This is the summer variant of the map, so features the even distribution of victory points. We just crack the tactical map here. Crack the tactical map. Here we go. You got the three victory points in a line down the center of the map, more or less, as opposed to the winter version where you've got like 2 victory points up in the north and just 1 to the south. And we can also see the forces spreading out across the map here. Looks like we've got 2 Volks for the Deutsches player, and 2 conscripts so far, with a 3rd coming on the way for HelpingHans. And let's see. Looks like we might have a little scuffle going to develop here as these grenadiers going to push westwards in just a second after they capture this point. And a 3rd squad of grenadiers coming up for CaptainSPrice. And I notice a lot of Wehrmacht players these days are favouring just going up to 3, maybe even 4 squads of grenadiers straight off the bat. Very little love for the MG42 in the early stages of the game, very little love for any other squads. And that's fair enough. I'd say probably if you're playing against the Brits, you might want to throw in a sniper or a mortar somewhere here or there. And I think if you're playing against USSR, just personal taste, I quite like to throw in an MG42. It's not super great because of URAR and Molotovs, but, you know, it can do the job. And we finally got the first shots being fired in anger down here to the south. Some conscripts going to get right up into the faces of these grenadiers and start burning them out. And there's the potential for a squad wipe here. Oh, no, sorry, no, there isn't. As a retreat's going to come down. Some pioneers here actually doing good work against these conscripts at point-blank range, and those conscripts are going to have to get out. And they do. So far, neither player having captured any of the victory points, so both players stand at 500 tickets apiece. Now let me just check. Do we have escalate to battle phase 1 coming along? Not quite yet. Actually, it's a little early. He doesn't have the fuel for it. My bad. And some grenadiers being forced back here. So basically even trades, I would say. The USSR forces taking the north and CaptainSPrice taking the south. So nothing to write home about here. Not just yet. Going up to 4 squads of conscripts, 4 squads of grenadiers, so it's pretty much an all-infantry brawl here. And of course the conscript squad and the grenadier squad, they're both squads that cost 240 manpower, so both teams pretty much just spending as identically as they can for 2 different factions in the game. These grenadiers want to do something productive. There they go. We are ready to go, comrades. Good work, comrades. Flamethrower coming out on the pioneers. No flamethrower yet for the Soviet player, but his munitions are low. Oh, of course, because he threw some Molotovs. Axis forces all the way up into the nearly into the Soviet base. Obviously, they won't go there. There's a downsack there, Spicy covering it. And a Molotov is used and dodged, and these grenadiers can probably take this fight. The conscripts do have the superior rate of fire, but when it's 3 models apiece, yeah, there we go. They're going to be forced back, and the Grenadiers are going to hold the day there. Meanwhile, up at the north, Grenadiers going to make short work of Engineers. Engineers not so great in a fight. Cunning use of barbed wire here, though, from the Soviet player. Just going to deny the cover here for the Axis player. So that's pretty good. I like that. Now, let's see. Do we have escalate to battle phase 1? Not yet. I imagine he'll click on that as soon as he remembers to, though, unless he's got plans to get a 5th squad. He does actually... Sorry, he already has. He's gone up to 2 of Pioneers, so that's interesting. Oh, and a Molotov coming down in a good position, and we could have a squad wipe here. Looks like it's not going to happen, and the flamethrower here is going to force these conscripts back. And we don't have a tech building yet from the Soviet player. We do have a field hospital, and that's going to start healing these units. We've got the Molotovs researched, so I wonder what the fuel is going to be used for. Now up to nearly 100 is HelpingHans. Curious. I'd like to see what he does with this. We've got the bunker coming down in the base to provide healing for CaptainSPrice. Looks like he has the requisite amount of munitions to begin upgrading that into a medical bunker. And if you could get these flamers into this building, too late. The conscripts keen to deny that one there. Helping Hands very cognizant of the fact that this flamer can do work. Oh, he's going to need to get that. Oh dear, there could be a squad right here. Almost certainly will be, I'd say. And there he goes. The fuel tanks explode, and that's 60 munitions and a squad down for CaptainSPrice, who can't be too happy about that exchange. Now the engineers for the Russians have just fallen back to base. Let's just see if they decide to build a building, because I reckon, seeing as how there's no combat on the map, we'll just keep an eye on them. I think that a tech choice is going to be needed here. Let's see.
You need something demolished?
They're getting healed. Dun dun dun. They're getting reinforced, which means that Helping Hands' attention is here, and we have tier 2 tech coming out. So we'll be able to see Maxims, we'll be able to see mortars, we'll be able to see Zis guns. I like this. This is a fine choice, and of course it unlocks the ability to progress further up the tech tree for the Soviets. So that's pretty cool. Some pioneers going to tuck into cover here. They're going to get burned, and he stands to lose another squad there, just a little too late on the fallback. And I think he should be able to get these guys out of there, but that could have been close if a couple more hits had been scored by those conscripts. Squad of conscripts going to take this point to the north. Seems like Helping Hands down just at the moment on victory points, but not for much longer, I wouldn't have thought. He's down by about 42 tickets right now. And these Grenadiers just doing work at point blank range. These conscripts are up to 2 stars, but it ain't going to be enough. And what do conscripts get for veterancy? Oops, sorry, conscripts. They get tripwire flares, so that's basically a blank, nothing at veterancy 1, and they get advance, so they get better offense at 2, and then mobility and accuracy at 3. Interesting. I know that that's changing soon in the upcoming patch. I think at veterancy 1 they're going to get a survivability upgrade, which everyone's a bit skeptical about, because if we remember with Volk's Grenadiers, they were very powerful with that, and they had that removed. Oh wait, actually, am I thinking of Riflemen who get that change? I think it might be Riflemen. I can't remember. Gonna have to check the proposed patch notes from that one. Grenadiers making a land grab. Conscripts making a sort of counter land grab. Both forces just happy to trade points on that one. Looks like we might have a scuffle developing here. Another flamethrower. 2 more flamethrowers actually being purchased for CaptainSPrice. Clearly a man who likes setting things on fire. Who can blame him? It is good fun. My mum always used to tell me to play with matches. Not a lot else going on right now. Okay, so we've got escalate to battle phase 1 has happened, but and a third squad of pioneers are just moving out on the map right now. So we'll see if he decides to construct the tier 2 building, whose name evades me now. It's like the I know VD is the hotkey to put it down, but damn if I can remember the name of that building.
Shock troops have arrived.
Gosh, so much flaming going on. And shock troops, finally! Yay, shock troops and a Maxim coming in to make this battle a little bit more interesting. Don't get me wrong, love conscripts, love grenadiers, top units at the best of times. Absolutely great. But watching dudes with rifles plug away at each other forever can get a bit boring. So I'm real glad we've got a Maxim and a shock troop squad. Who knows, this could actually force a unit which isn't pioneers or grenadiers onto the field from the Axis forces. Oh no, he could lose this flamer. Some focus fire coming out on the conscripts, they are aware, but he's going to sneak away. Lucky little pioneer there. These grenadiers also going to need to fall back, and they should get out of there as well. But yeah, who knows? We might even see a mortar squad or something different out of the Axis forces. Interesting. I'd love that. I'd love a mortar squad. And here's the thing, right? I don't actually think Grenadiers are OP or in the wrong place. I just think that MG42s and mortars aren't good enough. Like, which is a funny thing to say because they're great at the moment and they're actually both in for a nerf in the upcoming patch notes. But I mean, German players just spam the hell out of Grenadiers, and the reason is that's the best plan. So Relic in all their patch notes are saying, oh, we're trying to promote combined arms, you know, we're trying to promote a balanced approach to the game, we don't want to see any unit being spammed, and that's great. That's a noble aim. But they are not achieving that right now for the Axis forces by nerfing the weapon teams, which are already not used. And just, yeah, I mean, and you could say, okay, so why don't we nerf the Grenadiers and that'll make the weapon teams look better? Yeah, that's fine, but I think the Grenadiers are in the right place right now. You don't want to change that unit, it's just right, you know? Like, it's not OP, it's not underpowered, it's just a very useful, very nice unit. in my opinion, and it scales really well into the late game. I think the Grenadier is in the exact right place. I think you want to look at conscripts. I think they need some help in the late game. I think you need to look at riflemen. I think they just need a little bit of a change to help them in the late game. I think riflemen are nearly there though. And but I don't think you want to be nerfing MG42s right now. I think nerfing the mortar is totally fine. Because the GR34, the Wehrmacht mortar, at the moment, it's just way too good. All the other mortar teams, and even the light gun and the pack howitzer pale in comparison. It's far too good. So either you bring all the other pieces up to that level, or you nerf the GR34. I think nerfing the GR34 is the most elegant solution. I'm actually describing it as elegance, probably a bit too much. But sorry, just completely sidetracking you here with my thoughts on the current sort of balanced situation and Relic's sort of thoughts on what they're going to do to change it. But I mean, it's relevant at the moment because when you see a game which has just been, I mean, the Axis player still has built nothing except for Pioneers and Grenadiers. We're coming up to the 11-minute mark. You know, it's like, yeah, it's fine, it's fine. And here's an interesting thought: CaptainSPrice, a man who, when I saw him playing with the United States forces, just went tons and tons of squads of rear echelon troops, and was actually epic at microing them, like really good. He hardly dropped a single squad, and he was microing like 8-9 squads of these guys, you know, when at their peak, and he was just making them work. It was really good to see. So CaptainSPrice, clearly a guy who's happy microing large numbers of infantry, and as we see here, 4 flamer squads. I mean, it's not often you see that. This is the first time I've seen it in a cast. Nobody does this. CaptainSPrice though, he'll take it all day. Oh yeah! Let's roast and toast me some shock grenadiers, some shock troopers in comeback. They might want to fall them back now. I don't know about staying here. Those PPSHs are pretty dangerous. Yeah, he should get a squad right here. Come on, there we go. So just as I say that. But anyway. And actually, the forces of the Axis beginning to look a little outnumbered. He's floating some manpower. He's also just spent some, so he's going to escalate to battle phase 2. Seems fair, because he's up on a lot of fuel. He wants to be able to buy a Panzer IV or just something to take care of that fuel. HelpingHans has chosen a commander, though. He's chosen the shock rifle frontline tactics, a very good all-rounder, the most straight up of the Russian commanders, in my opinion. Gives you the IS-2, gives you the KV-8, gives you the flame artillery, gives you the shocks, which he's using, and only one sort of weak ability in that lineup, the camo on the Zis guns. You rarely see that be relevant. He does have a Zis gun, and I'd love to see him use that camo. It's just I almost never see it actually make the difference. So, yeah. And from CaptainSPrice, we've got, let's see, he's got Lightning War. We have a scuffle here in mid, by the way. Sorry. Looks like we've got an MG. Oh, it's an LMG-42 in this building. Gonna force these conscripts back. The Maxim here doing good work though, flanking them. Gonna probably force them back. A couple of flamethrower squads moving through south. And the victory points at the moment, just 19 points separating the two players. CaptainSPrice ahead at the moment, but that lead is waning because HelpingHans controls the south and the middle victory point. Also, most of his forces not really out on the map, so this is a time when the Soviet player HelpingHans could push. Let me just crack the tack here, and the tactical map is revealing. Yeah, only one squad of Grenadiers actually fighting right now. Another squad of Grenadiers coming forward to help it out. But that's going on here, and it's nice to see that he is just buying the LMG-42s. I'd love to see him get one in his other squad. It's such a good upgrade, and it just makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense, and I see a lot of Axis players actually floating large amounts of munitions and not getting that upgrade. So it's nice to see it coming out. In my opinion, it's a straight upgrade. Yeah, you can't fire it on the move, but you know you're only losing 1 rifle's worth of fire on the move. So we'll probably see a grenade, I would imagine, come out from these shock troops. There are enough munitions from HelpingHans. The grenade, of course, costing 30 munitions on the shock troops. Wow. Is he going to lose these grenadiers? I'd hate to see him lose them. No, he's going to fall back. There we go. Shock troops pretty vicious actually, because they also have body armor. If we zoom in on them, you can see they're actually wearing like vests, which are the only squad in the game to do so. Wow, forcing these guys back as well, and getting flamed a bit. Now, there's a scuffle down here in the south. There's some grenadiers going to get flamed. They'll probably just fall back, one imagines. And where are those shock troops? Okay, when they're done falling back, I'd like to check what veterancy abilities they get, because just to refresh myself, I can't actually remember what they get and when. Plenty of squads here being healed and reinforced. CaptainSPrice kind of on the back foot, really. He's beginning to, if we crack the tack here, you can see he's losing all, he doesn't have any of the victory points. Well, he has the north one, but only for a couple more seconds. And kind of being pushed back on all fronts. Now, I'd love to see Helping Hands just push these Zis guns up. Maybe get one behind this tank and get another, like, behind this tank looking this way or something. Or behind this tree facing the gap in another good place, actually. Because they're very defensively placed at the moment. Although, maybe he just doesn't want to risk losing them. Maybe he's just happy that he's ahead. Doesn't want to expose them. And you know what? I'm not even sure that CaptainSPrice has seen the second one. So maybe he's just stashing the second one, keeping that information back. Not letting his opponent know about it for the time being. Does get the second LMG-42. I'd love to see him get a third when he has another 60 munitions. I believe it costs 60. Yeah. No, but CaptainSPrice in quite a spot now. Ooh, he's gone straight up to escalate to Battle Phase 3 and is constructing a heavy Panzer Corps. And you know what? His fuel income, despite his beleaguered map position, is decent because he still has this fuel point connected and 4 other points. So I wonder what we're going to see. And looking at the map, looking at the unit balance, the Soviet player hasn't spent any of their fuel, not really, so they can respond. But I almost think a Brumbar is the right choice. I know that there's 2 Zis guns out there, but a Brumbar would help with all this infantry. It would certainly make combat in this constricted area of the map a lot easier for the Axis player. But, you know, if you go for a Brumbar, your opponent can pick a really decent anti-tank counter, like maybe an Su-76, a couple of Su-85s, whatever you want. He's got the fuel for it. And I worry that the Brumbar would just fall to that, so maybe he has to pick a Panther anyway. I don't know. Anyway, his fuel income has just been slashed because the Soviet player has taken command at this point, which if we crack the tack, you can see it here, you can see it just cuts off all those resources. So worse than halving the fuel income there. It's going to be another minute and a half, or sorry, another minute at this current rate of fuel income before he can afford the Panther. And the fact that he's still saving says to me that that is what he's going for, unless actually he's just saving up the 470 manpower you need for the Brumbar. How much fuel is the Brumbar? 160, yeah, so you can just squeeze one out. Here comes a Molotov. These Grenadiers are going to need to get out. 3 Grenadier squads and 3 Pioneer squads. Only 1 Flamer on those Pioneers, now facing off against 4 Conscripts, a Shock, a Maxim and 2 Zisses, and some Engineers if you want to count them. So the German forces outnumbered and beleaguered at 26 supply under 60. So the Soviets really playing the Soviet game here. And they're even grabbing this fuel point. Like, look at the disparity in fuel income. Plus 10 to plus 29. Munitions at plus 16 to plus 47. CaptainSPrice definitely in the deficit position here. Managing to grab the top victory point. He's fallen behind on victory points. He's now trailing by 56 points. But doing what he can to buy a bit more time here in the north. He's going to want to get these Pioneers out of here. Don't lose that squad. Good, good, good. Every squad critical now. If he loses one more squad, things start getting really bad. And the Brumbar is the choice. Fantastic times. Not often we get to see this unit. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping CaptainSPrice knows how to micro this unit well. I'm hoping he's not going to commit it in the face of those 2 Zisses. I'm hoping that he's just going to... I just really want to see a Brumbar. This is going to be exciting. Love a Brumbar. One of my favourite units in the game, just because it's such a simple thing. It's like, let's build a metal box, we'll put an engine in it and some tracks so it can move, and we'll put a chunky gun in there. Great, an assault gun at the best of times. And here it comes, an honest assault gun. Ooh, and he's chosen a commander. He's gone for the Jaeger armor doctrine. Oh, spicy. And I love this doctrine. This is one of my favorites. I use this guy all the time. He gets the half-track Regal anti-tank mine, which when you use it, and if you ever get a hit with that thing, is sweet. It's so devastating. Bit of a risk. Recon overflight, which is just awesome. It's just, you always want that. Spotting scopes, totally great. I'm not going to say busted, but man, they make Stugs into something they shouldn't be. And the Stuka bombing strike, always useful, can even decap a point. And finally you get the Elephant Tank Destroyer if you ever get there. An Elephant Tank Destroyer plus spotting scopes, I'll let you see the synergy there. Going to drive straight onto a mine in front of 2 Zis guns. This Brumbar now just sitting tight. Not quite the opening of proceedings that I was hoping for the Zis, for the Brumbar. The Zis gun is in fact just going to score a bounce there though, as he's going to try and take this victory point. Oh dear, getting pinged back. And this is the problem with the Brumbar. And I think at 13 victory points you can get the IS-2, and there's a KV-8 on the way just now, and things looking super bad for CaptainSPrice. He's not out of this game. He's not out by a long shot, but boy is he behind. Shock troops going to push back, I would imagine, both of these squads. Let's just check. Oh dear, and a great grenade, and unless CaptainSPrice is paying attention. Oh wow, the grenade actually A double bluff there, throwing it behind the squad, thinking that they were going to displace backwards. And here comes the KV-8. Nice camo on that unit. I'm just going to check the veterancy abilities. So they get the tripwire flares, so basically a blank combat. So they become more survivable and deal more damage at veterancy 2, and they deal even more damage at veterancy 3. So the Brumbar is now repaired, but kind of getting hit on by that Zis. He's going to need to get out. Where is he aiming it? Why is that thing turning? Oh no, don't expose your weak armor to the Zis. There's a KV-8. That's going to force back a lot of the infantry. Managing to grab the south point though, so not bleeding out as fast as he might be. And there are no Soviet forces, let's crack the tack, no Soviet forces in the north of the map. So I'd love to see him just spare a squad up there. Boom! Finally getting a decent hit. Oh, but the Zis just taxing this Brumbar. He's going to get another flump into these storms, is he? No. So I'm actually quite surprised that the Brumbar is able to like deflect Zis gun rounds. I didn't think its armor was that good at the front. So he's going to repair it. And if we look at the, I think it's veterancy 2, armoured skirts, yeah, veterancy 2 for the armoured skirts. So that's cool. Come on, mate, you know there's a Zis there. I'm so worried about the way he's using this Brumbar just with his side armour on. Oh, he's going to attack ground onto the Zis. Fair enough, just playing for one shot there. And that Maxim might get out of there. Oh, there's an LMG-42 squad here. Oh, dearie me, that's a lot of conscripts though. The rifle grenade coming out, sort of desperation point-blank rifle grenade. Unfortunately, the conscripts were not so clustered. And a pack gun, finally, something to push away this... you know what? If that KV-8 wanted to, it could have just driven in and killed that pack gun. That could have been the call, actually, because you know what? If he drives in and kills the pack gun, he just drives in and kills the base. I think that that was a moment there where the KV-8 just could have gone, hello, you're dead, pack gun, hello, and just roast and toasted at least any squads it found back here, and possibly the bunker as well. That would have been really cool. Helping Hands, though, just playing it safe, playing it really safe. I almost think it would have been safer to take that pack gun, because it really is the only unit that can push this KV-8 out of the way. Yeah, the Brumbar can do it some damage and stuff, but I don't think it can deal it enough damage to be a real worry. And it's set to use main gun. He needs to turn the flamer on, I guess, because it's not firing those pioneers. Two squads going to fall back here, clearly respecting the KV-8. Captain Price now finds himself at 238 under the 410 of Helping Hands, so considerably behind, and getting further behind all the time. And yeah, down by 212 tickets? No, 188 tickets, yeah. So things not looking good, but to his credit, Captain Price sticking in. And in the last game I casted of him, yeah, he lost that game too, but I was very impressed with his play, and he did stick it through to the end. So never want to give up when there's still hope. And right now there is still hope. Where is that Brumbar? I can hear it firing. Oh no, the engine gets damaged. An anti-tank grenade coming off these conscripts. Now I don't think the Zis gun is going to stalk. Oh, it is coming forwards, it is going to stalk, but I don't think it's going to get much done by stalking, because the Brumbar's still not like dead in the water, still able to crawl backwards even with the damage engine. And we should see some pioneers coming out to repair that. How many squads of pioneers? Just 2 on the field. Second Zis gun enters now, and this is what I was saying. Now Captain Price has actually managed to build up enough anti-tank where he can actually use it as a buffer against that KV-8. So the opportunity to just come in and kill that pack gun, not really there anymore. Oh, here comes the KV-8. Pack guns are going to line up. Biff. Is that another KV-8? Oh, it's an IS-2. And with that, oh, that's pretty good. I mean, you have to think that's got to be it, right? I mean, the front armor on this thing is monstrous. Oh, scoring a massive hit into the triple star. Oh my god, this is the battle of ages right here. This is it. This is make or break, and he's not even retreating these squads, and thank goodness he doesn't. Now here comes a Molotov onto the Brumbar, and that's not enough. The IS-2 gets pushed back with 2/3 health, and what the? Captain Price advancing into a Maxim with two not Zis guns, pack guns. He really wants them here because then they can hit that repairing unit. Uh-oh, Brumbar's going to try and get a hit onto the Maxim, which it does. I fear for it though, because I believe the rounds on the IS-2, being a heavy tank, stun. The rounds on the Brumbar also stun. Wow, he's really playing this Brumbar. He's really pushing it, just trying to get every shot he can. But there's a Zis gun. There could be mines. That's an extension too far. He's getting, oh no, he's getting scissor attacked here. Not sure I like that. One more hit on the Brumbar to nail it, and the Brumbar is going to have to. It's going to actually get. I don't like the way he stops it there either. The IS-2 could take a shot from here and kill it. He's pushing it forwards. What is this madness? Price, that Zis gun is still there, buddy. I mean, this is a desperate position, desperate times. He knows he needs to make plays, and he knows he needs every unit he has to make these plays. But damn, I'd just love to see him repair this. He's floating nearly 400 manpower as well, actually, so he could just buy another Pioneer squad. He could also get like a Panzer IV, but he doesn't have the correct building, so what? He could go for a total punt and get a Panzerwerfer. That's a super risk. I don't think it's worth it, actually, because in the remaining time of the game, if things stand as they are, it'll only get one barrage off, so that's like the world's most expensive call-in at that point. So that puts him on not buying any more armour for the rest of the game.
Down to 100 points.
Don't know. The Brumbar's going to get repaired, so at least that's happening. Do the Pioneers get a repair rate boost at 2? No, they don't. They never get a repair rate increase. Oof, because they repair real slow.
We are losing territory.
Finally sending a squad to the north. Hooray! And I say, screw it. Don't bypass this point. This is just a regular point. Yeah, you need resources, but you're going to die. Just get up here before he can react. Get up to the victory point. That's what I reckon. I mean, you know, I've got God mode, observer mode going on here, so that's fair enough for me to say. This IS-2 still not being repaired. The KV-8's back up though. Here we go. Here come the engineers for it. There we go. Now the Pioneer's going to make a run onto that point. And so, which other point is he going to go for? It looks like the middle one. The Brumbar's back in action. I'd love to see him somehow reinforce these guys, but I know he can't. Does he have the tier 2 building? He does. You know what? I think a half-track would be a smart choice. I think a half-track would be dead smart, actually. Because that way he could reinforce his squads, and that he needs that extra momentum. I think a half-track would be dope. Oh, a couple of conscript squads here. That Brumbar's going to want to take those shots. What does he get? Oh yeah, he gets the bunker barrage. Bunker busting barrage. That could be totally useful. Wow. Some grenadiers getting scorched there. And the Brumbar is going to attack round here. He knows the conscripts are there. Beautiful. That's a beautiful shot. I love it. And if he knows that the IS-2 is here, I'd love to see him use a bunker busting barrage on it. Oh, or is that what he's using now? No, he's just attack rounding. Yeah. So, okay, now look. Okay, let's turn on the fog of war. Turn on the fog of war for... There we go, so he sees the IS-2 now. Is he going to go for a... No, because it's finished repairing now, so the bunker busting barrage is pretty much off the table. Don't think he's going to get that off. Pushing back in the south is Helping Hands, down to 30 tickets, and the north victory point about to be captured, so I think CaptainSPrice, sadly, is going to be pushed out of this game. Oh dear, yep, grenade up in the north, but not enough. And that tree is doing some very unusual things. Breakdancing tree there. Is that the bunker busting barrage? Yeah, that's the bunker busting barrage, and you can tell because of the range on it. And he's making a grab at mid. He needs to be grabbing one other point on the map, like right now though. I just don't think it's there. And I've got a lot of sympathy here for CaptainSPrice. I think he played an okay game. I think he got behind in the early mid game, and I think he wasn't able to come back. I think the Brumbar was the right choice. I think it's done well, as it could have done in the face of this much deficit. But
10 points remaining.
yeah, a big shout out to Captain Price. I always like to watch him play. Well, there's 2 out of 2 games he's amused me, and I think his US tactics are certainly more fun to watch though. They're pretty cool. And there was a Panther on the build there at the end of the game, but too little too late for CaptainSPrice, who's going to see the game through to the end, and again, props to him for that. But Helping Hands, ever the smooth, ever a very fluent Soviet player there, never the game was in jeopardy. Able to handle the early Grenadier spam using conscripts and then pushing into Maxims and things, delaying his tech choice to respond to that of his opponent. Picking a commander who could bring a lot of benefit and delivering with the shock troops, delivering with the KV-8, and yeah, sure the IS-2 didn't exactly pay for itself, but damn, it felt, you know, that its presence on the battlefield really was felt, even if it didn't do that much damage. So yeah, a really good game there from Helping Hands. Always a pleasure to watch him play, and I look forward to casting more of his games in the future. So yeah, I believe that concludes this replay. Thank you very much for watching. This is Magpie842 signing out.